Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Drama is Life, where we talk about what was in history, what is currently happening, and what could be going on in the future. Hello, I am Theresa White, the CEO and founder of In Time Creative Counseling Service and your Drama is Life host. We have been doing Drama is Life for the past 3 years, where it was formerly known as Can We Talk? And we have these conversations, and tonight we have a topic for you with regards to flowing into our weeks that we've had in July for BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month. And that's one of my, I say niche clients or population. We definitely want to decrease the stigma of mental health and increase awareness among our community, particularly among African American communities and faith-based communities. So this is information purposes. So anything that we share, this is not to replace a therapy session as a disclaimer, but it is information based off of my expertise, experience that I have had with being a therapist. And I have been a therapist for the last 14 years. So we have a topic tonight, and I just want to ask, have you ever felt like in your life it was okay to make a mistake? And I want you to put your answer in the comments. Thumbs up if yes, I was definitely welcome open arms with mistakes, or thumb down. No, mistakes were not allowed in my life. And I want you to put that as in kind of the past. Think about the past. Has mistakes been allowed in your life in the past? And so I want you just to think about that, because we're going to talk about what is perfectionism, especially as it pertains to the BIPOC community regarding mental health. And so we're going to have that conversation, because I hear people talk about perfectionism often in different terms, that they may say things with how they, kind of interact with others, relationships, their jobs. And sometimes it's this overview of mistakes are not really allowed, that we expected to come out of our mother's womb and just know how life is supposed to be. And as we talked about last week, shame on you if you do not know how to get everything right, etc. 100%. That sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But that's how we talk to ourselves, and we'll get into that conversation just a little bit. I do want to let you know, because I sometimes forget to share this, that we are definitely in honor, not only with the BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month, but all year. And I've been talking about this since November, that In Time Creative Counseling Services, because I offer sliding scales and sometimes pro bono services for particularly BIPOC communities. I'm looking for our community to be able to help with that, to raise money, to be able to help offer services for our BIPOC community, particularly or especially among our African American males. But we want to take up an offering, or I guess I would say an offering, but take up, anything that you would like to offer to help with that, because we definitely want to make sure that our people are getting the help that they need and the quality services that they need. And so in the comments, you will be able to see how you can give. You can give by PayPal. You can give, we have a PayPal account for our business. We have CashApp, and it's the $ in time CCS is our CashApp, and that's INTIME CCS. And you can also just simply write a check to In Time Creative Counseling Services. And I will say that with that, anyone that gives, we do let you know who you have helped. We don't tell you particularly who the person is, but I'll give you, for example, 34-year-old African American. We'll give you a very general amount and let you know, maybe someone with, anxiety that is now able to have better skills. And we want to be able to raise this money to be able to offer at least 5 people. If we get more than that, that's great. But I want to offer 5 people at least 4 to 5 free sessions at no cost to them. And so I've already put in excuse me, the first $300, of course, because I'm going to give into my own to be able to help. So I'm asking for your help with that as well. Um, and so if you would be any amount would be helpful. But the goal that we're looking for is 5,000 for the year. And so we definitely are asking for your assistance. And I will say that we are not a nonprofit, but we definitely still want to help our community in the ways that we can. So if you want information about that, please give us a call during our office hours, 812-814-9463. And I will say we are located in Terre Haute, but we service the entire state of Indiana. So if you're watching this and you're watching this anywhere else, it doesn't matter what state you're in, you're welcome to give. So please, 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 please. It may not be you that need the help, but you know someone else that may need it and may be struggling to pay for it. Please let's help some people out as an honor for BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month. So let's do our social justice duty to be able to help people to get the services that they need. And so, with that being said, let's get into our topic. So, again, more questions about that, and we'll be continually announcing that and posting that information of where you can give. So, thank you in advance for all of those who it has been put on your heart to give, and whatever you've been put on your heart to give. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because there are so many people who really need the services and that are just struggling financially right now. And so, if you have been blessed to be a blessing, and you've been asking, I don't know where to give. I don't know. This is the place. This is the place. This is the time. And of course, we will definitely talk to you more about what that looks like when you contact us. So tonight's topic, are mistakes allowed? Or mistakes are allowed, right? I mean, we say that sounded ridiculous. As I said, infants coming into the world are not made to like, oh, you should know everything. And maybe not infants, maybe when you get 3 you should know everything that there is to know about life and walk straight, make no mistakes, right? Or maybe the age is 10. Is that a good age that people shouldn't make mistakes? Maybe it's 16, that age of consent in Indiana. Maybe it's 16 that people shouldn't. So if we keep on going up the age, even if we get all the way to 50, you should at the age of 50 have life scaled and it'd be perfect. You don't make mistakes. And even when I say that, it sounds to me, and it may not to you, but it sounds really ridiculous to me. But I know that that is a true belief for a lot of people. And I've had it for myself, and I have to catch myself at times. So I'm going to tell you about myself. I have to catch myself at times when it comes to mistakes because we can be our own, as we say, our own worst critic. We can, harp on ourselves that we should have, right? Our shoulda, coulda, wouldas is really what it is. That our shoulda, coulda, wouldas get in the way. And because our shoulda, coulda, wouldas get in the way, then they tell us that, mistakes are not allowed. We should have already known. And then we start to beat ourselves up about what we did not know, which doesn't really make sense, does it? But it's how people live. And so we're going to talk about perfectionism, particularly among the BIPOC community. So let me tell you what perfectionism is. So perfectionism, and I'll give you the terminology or definition according to a therapist definition. Perfectionism is the belief that everything, and I do mean everything, must be perfect at all times. Just let that sit with you for a second. Because I know some people out there are like, I feel like that's me. I'm a perfectionist. So those who claim to be a perfectionist, or maybe somebody has said to you that you're a perfectionist, Teresa, like everything got to be perfect, or you're stressing out, or you're, have anxiety, or, angry, or whatever. That everything must be the belief that everything must be perfect at all times. And someone that identifies as a perfectionist sets impossible goals. So let me make that clear, impossible goals, and feels very crushed, anxious, angry when they are not achieved. Now, typically this is somebody who also strives to do their best, when they set these challenges, but they are still not achievable. And so this is something that the goals are set with regards to being, again, massive. These goals that, and I won't say massive, but again, that are impossible. So say for example, um, I'm going to run 5 miles by the end of the week, but I haven't even really started walking one. That would be an impossible goal because that will be setting my body up for failure. First of all, there's no way that I can do that in a healthy manner without my mind mentally, emotionally, and physically crashing to really be able to successfully run a marathon. Anyone who runs long distance knows that you have to build your body up, build that strength up to be able to get that accomplished, right? So, but that's the kind of things that happen in the mind of a perfectionist, that those things are happening. So it's the difference between, because I feel like I have grown into a place where I'm striving for excellence. And that is a difference with perfectionism and striving for excellence. But before I get to striving for excellence, I still want to talk a little bit about perfectionism. So with perfectionism, I wonder if any of you have any thoughts of where, and good evening to everybody who's joining. Hello, hello. I wonder where this idea came from, that everything, and not everything, must be perfect at all times. And that means, and so that just boils down to you must be perfect at all times. Where did this belief come from? And if you have any ideas, put it in the comments. Let me know where you feel like people got the idea that they must be perfect at all times. Because, of course, nobody says it to their child, be perfect. You have to be perfect. I don't think any healthy parent has ever told their child everything has to be right at all times. Or maybe they did. So yeah, or teachers, or community members, or TV shows, but I just wonder where this belief came from, right? So a perfectionist, I'm just going to kind of give you a few of some of the behaviors that you may see. A perfectionist, sometimes it's hard to see that, but they spend excessive amount of times on what people may see as trivial problems. And I'll say for a trivial problem would be, something that's not life and death. So if say you're going out of town, you got to pack your bag and you're trying to figure out what toothbrush to take. And you spend 15 minutes trying to decipher which toothbrush to take because you don't want to take the wrong toothbrush. That may sound like a silly, oh, Teresa, that doesn't really happen, but that's the kind of excessive time that's being spent on trivial things. And so people, and you can put in your own trivial thing because a lot of times that's really what's happening, that people are coming up with, all these different, again, trivial things, these trivial things that are not really a matter of life and death, but they will spend their time as if it is. And so again, just for a minute, this is you. This is not a make you feel bad, but just for you to, again, become aware of where this is coming from and how much is it taking time. Because really the belief of everything having to be perfect all the time is taking time away from you living life and just being. And I want you to really hear that. The belief that everything must be perfect at all times is taking time, robbing you of joy, robbing you of peace, robbing you of just serenity, and robbing you of the ability to make mistakes and have a good time. And I say that, and don't go out there and, of course, purposely do silly things that are dangerous. But I mean, if I write something, I want to write a book, and so the first couple of pages didn't come out great, it's not a life and death situation. Yet, for a perfectionist, and I say that because, again, I have struggled with feeling like I have struggled with this belief and didn't really catch it until, again, I started to get into this field and had to work on some things on my own. that, papers, this is sometimes where procrastination starts. People don't want to make a mistake, so they don't even do it at all. I'd rather say I didn't do it at all than even risk the thought that someone would know that I made a mistake, that it was not perfect. And so it's easier for people sometimes to just not even try, because then they can fall back on, I didn't even try, so that's not a big deal. Instead of them putting effort in it and then it getting, feedback that maybe they may not see as great or positive, and they see that as a mistake. So people procrastinate. And that was one of the reasons why I procrastinated in school, that I really realized once I started to get in this field and do my own emotional and self work, that I realized I really procrastinate because I'm trying to avoid what I don't feel comfortable with. And that was making mistakes, that I was not even allowing myself the ability to make a mistake. And I will explain that, just what that really does to you in just a moment. So people who are considered to be perfectionists, or have this belief, typically are motivated by fear of failure, criticism, or rejection. So let's just, instead of hearing that whole thing, they're motivated by fear. And that's what motivates people. Excuse me. People are motivated, and again, perfectionists are motivated by fear. So, and I'm going to give an example. When we talk to our sons and sometimes our daughters about how to engage with the police, is that motivated? Yeah, motivated by fear, isn't it? Fear that there's going to be loss of life, fear of loss of time, which means you're going to be arrested, motivated by fear. So we're saying be perfect in your interaction. And as we've seen throughout, different news reports in different states, that doesn't always matter. People are not guilty of doing things illegal that have lost their life. Everybody's not guilty of doing things illegal that have lost their life to authorities. And so when we are like, I need you to do it like this, look straight ahead, keep your hands on the dashboard, don't reach, and we're going through the list of things. And there's a proper way definitely to interact with your law enforcement. Because I have family members that are law enforcement, so I'm not saying in a disrespectful way to anyone that is properly doing their job. But a lot of the conversation that happens with BIPOC communities about how to interact with the authorities, whether it is law enforcement or your supervisors, a lot of it is motivated by fear of judgment, fear, again, of rejection, and fear of criticism. And in the BIPOC community, that shows up a lot because of the discrimination, because of the judgment that's already happened, that people are so overwhelmed with it that they're trying to avoid it altogether. So I'm going to present myself as always smiling, never having a bad day. I'm never hurting. I never have a problem. And what that really boils down to is that I have to be perfect. And that's exhausting for anybody. It's exhausting. And I say that because, again, me doing my own work, I realized how much energy, how much life it was taking from me to try to be perfect. And perfect for who? A lot of times it really wasn't, when I boiled down to it, it really wasn't for myself. It was so others wouldn't judge the persona of others. And so it's the difficulty that comes with that. As we talked about procrastinating showing up, decisions don't get made. Responsibility of, a task or whatever does not even happen. There's difficulty in making decisions. So I don't know what toothbrush to take. So I struggle. And people are like, just come on through, so take a toothbrush. It doesn't matter. But that doesn't seem to connect in my brain. If I'm a perfectionist, I have to pick the right toothbrush because everything has to be right, which boils down to perfect. And again, it shows up a lot of times in our young people, in adults, in every age it shows up. And I just wonder if we really recognize how much it's robbing you, if that's something that you identify with, and robbing others. in your life, or those who are around you that you may have noticed, that you may say, oh, that sounds like so and so. That sounds like how so and so looks at themselves or views their actions, or that they struggle with making decisions because they don't want to make mistakes, or etc. Do they fall up under this definition that they believe that everything must be perfect at all times? So, again, procrastination is one of the results of perfectionism. Stress, anxiety, depression. The lack of motivation a lot of times happens because I don't want to deal with rejection, so I don't do anything at all. And truthfully, not making a decision is a decision. Different topic for a different live. But I just want you to be aware, and I want you to hear, because I want you to begin to challenge yourself with, if this belief is something that you have, struggled with on anything, at work, at school, with family, with friends. I have to be perfect and have the perfect conversation and perfect smile, and the picture has to look good. And when I take a selfie, it has to be perfect. How much time do people take to get their selfies perfect? Make sure that the eyes and the hair, and we fix it, and we're doing this, and just so that other people don't give us criticism, don't reject us, or give us negative labels. What's really what judge means? That I'm going to negatively label you on something that may not even be true. But that's what happens when this belief that everything must be perfect at all times, it drives so much. And again, it takes so much. So I want you to think about the example that I gave with the child. So at what age should somebody be able to have everything be perfect, to know everything that they should say, do, just perfection? Go ahead, I'll wait. Put in the comments if you have an age that this is where you should be perfect. You should have everything perfect at all times at this age. I think it's going to be really difficult for people to put an age there because it's unrealistic. That's why it's an impossible goal. And I think what we sometimes are robbing ourselves of is growth. I'm not going to say sometimes. We are robbing ourselves of growth. I don't think it, I know it. And I've seen it and I've experienced it myself. I can't grow in my writing if I'm afraid to actually give the first draft. I never get anything out. So I can't even get to perfectionism, or I can't even get to what would be the ideal book, the ideal product, because I am stuck in the procrastination phase. I'm not doing anything because I have this belief that if it's not perfect, then don't do it at all. And so that stops me in my tracks. And I'm saying this happens a lot in our BIPOC communities, and not just with work. Sometimes we can overly do things. I'm gonna keep on doing. I'm gonna give you extra hours. I'm gonna be the one that gives you overtime. I'm gonna come in early, leave late. I'm gonna do all these extra things so that you can see me as the perfect employee. And again, that equates to so that you won't judge me, criticize me, or reject me, because that's motivating. The motivation of fear is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Sometimes we'll say it's, well, no, I love my job. And that's wonderful. Love your job. But I want you to, again, to us consider, is it fueled by this belief? So when we think about our child that's coming into the world, the child that you want to start walking, start crawling. Let's even go back to crawling. When they start first, is it supposed to be perfect? Or no, they begin to tumble over, and that tells their body, okay, I need to strengthen this part, this muscle. If I stumble over this way, I need to strengthen this muscle. And the body is doing that. It's becoming stronger as it's made a mistake, as it didn't get the result that maybe it wanted the first time. But maybe that was actually the result that I should have fell over so that I can know where to strengthen myself. With walking, I wobble a little bit. The toddlers wobble and they fall down, and we're like, yay, come on, get back up. That's how life should be for everybody in every stage and every age. Mistakes should be allowed because mistakes are a part of life, mistakes are a part of growth. Unless you're looking at mistakes as somebody is bad or wrong, which is a whole different belief in a different life for a different day. So I'm going to encourage you all, when you look at perfectionism, look at this belief and ask yourself, do I fit that criteria? Is this some of the things that's been struggles in my life? And if it's gotten to a place where you feel like I don't even know how to get a handle on it anymore, that's where we come in. That's where drama therapy can come in to help you get moving, as we use the arts with music, poetry, writing, dance, drama. We use the arts to help you get unstuck, to help you conquer procrastination, to help you conquer the fear of failure, so that you can get back the time, get back life, and get back the joy and peace that you were always meant to have. So I'm going to pause here for tonight. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you're able to take a little bit of what we talked about and assess that for yourself. See if you meet that criteria. Anybody you know meet that criteria. Feel free to share this video and let others know that you don't have to stay at perfectionism, because I want you to know it's impossible to meet the goals that are set up to be perfect at all times. So let's get back to life. Let's get back to allowing ourselves to make mistakes so that we can learn and strengthen our emotional, intellectual, physical, financial muscles. You guys have a great day, great week, and I will see you next time.